Well, good evening. Well, good evening.
Good evening.
There you go. There you go. Well, once again, guess who we have back with us? Now, all together, Lehigh Valley Italian American Band. Isn't that wonderful? Well, that's about it for tonight. There are people out around the valley that says this is $1 million group. $1 million group. There's another group that says they aren't worth a plug nickel. So you take your choice of what you think they like. But tonight, they're under the co-leadership. Pardon me? I don't need it. I have the lapel mic. This is a fake. See, it isn't even turned on. That's to get you to respond, which you did, okay? So I give it to you.
Well, I have to.
These are the people I work with. And they're called residents, I think. That's what they're called, mostly. Okay, now you forgot where I was on my script. Okay. Anyway, Matt is the leader, and he's put together a truly mediocre program for us this evening. But you're going to love it. And I know they're going to be great because I saw them ride in. You ought to have seen what they rode in on. Anyway, while I go feed their horses, let's give a big round of applause to the Lehigh Valley Italian American Band.
Testing. All right, it works.
You want to do your announcement here, boss? Sure.
All right, anybody here from Easton? Yeah, okay. If I tell you we're going to play number 9, you know that song? You don't? Oh, come on, everybody in Easton knows that song. Well, anyhow, we're going to play for you now a song called Caderna, but it's generally known as number 9. Tonight's program is a salute to jazz, and among Italian Americans, I guess you couldn't beat anybody but Frank Sinatra when it comes to singing some great jazz music. So we're going to play for you a selection of some of his greatest hits, including Come Fly With Me, Witchcraft, That's Life, and Fly Me to the Moon, and it's going to feature our vocalist.
Do you know his name?
His name is Chris.
It's okay. I'm okay being incognito. Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just glide starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together. Otherwise, it's such a lovely day. Just say the word and we'll be the bird down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Pack up, let's fly away. Those fingers in my hair that sly come hither stare strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft, and I've got no defense for it. That heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's clearly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one that I'd never switch. 'Cause there's no nicer witch than you. That's life. That's what the people say. Riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change my tune. Be back on top in June. I've been a puppet, a poet, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out, but I know one thing. Each time I get up and find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. And I tell you, I can't deny it. I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. And I know I didn't work one single try. I'd jump up on a big boat and then I'd fly. Fly me to the moon and let me sing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you.
Louis Armstrong.
One of the great jazz musicians of all time was a man that came from Chicago but actually got started in New Orleans. We're talking about Mr. Louis Armstrong. We're going to play for you now some of his great hits: Basin Street Blues, High Society, Hello Dolly, and When the Saints Go Marching In. Tribute to Mr. Louis Armstrong. They even use jazz in the movies. I'm glad we got the microphone working better now. Thank you. We'll do that first song again. do the first song again. All right. Anyhow, we're going now from Broadway to the movie to us, and we're going to play for you a selection from the movie Chicago. It includes all that jazz, the cell block tango, Roxy, and We Both Reached for the Gun. Selections from Chicago. Now, we can't come here tonight and being an Italian band and not play some Italian music for you. So we're going to start off with a song that was made by Mr. Dean Martin entitled Arrivederci Roma. World War II brought out some great music for the soldiers overseas and for the people here at home. We're going to play for you now a selection that includes such tunes as It's Been a Long, Long Time, Thanks for the Memories, Bell-Bottom Trousers. There'll be Bluebirds Over the White Cliffs of Dover, I'll Be Seeing You, Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree with Anyone Else But Me, and Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. It's entitled The Home Front, Musical Memories from World War II. I'll continue with our World War II theme for jazz, and the orchestra we're going to play the song from is my favorite big band of all times, Mr. Glenn Miller, and we're going to play for you now the St. Louis Blues March as done by the Mr. Glenn Miller's Orchestra. Anybody like polkas in here? Well, I guess a couple of you do, huh? I know when I used to go to all those Italian weddings, they always had polkas. And you talk about jazz. How about the Andrews Sisters? They were pretty jazzy. And we're going to play their version of the Beer Barrel Polka as part of this medley of the big band polka, the Pennsylvania Polka, My Melody of Love, and the Beer Barrel Polka. Our next selection is, how about if we call it a little bit of folk jazz, okay? This takes us back to songs like Frankie and Johnny and The Lonesome Road and John Henry, Chicken Reel, Michael Row the Boat Ashore, The Arkansas Traveler, I'm on My Way, and Down by the Riverside. It's entitled Hootenanny, and it's my favorite song, so that's why we play it all the time. Okay, we're going to conclude our program tonight by playing for you in Berlin's God Bless America, and we're going to bring Chris back to sing it for us. And you join along, please. Your turn to sing.
Great. Lehigh, LVI. Here we are. Very good. What did you think? Okay? Very good. Shall we have them back? Of course, right? That's your own question. Thank you so much.
Just a little bit of an announcement. We will be back in Christmas time. I'm not sure of the date, but we do have an engagement here at Christmas. So if you enjoyed the band, it's in December. Tell Joan if you didn't enjoy it, don't say anything.
Is that this year or next?
Yeah. All right, good night and God bless.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Thank you very much. Okay. Good. Thanks for the drum roll.
I see you. That's important.